I know this topic is everywhere right now, narcissism. There's an endless list of terminology, memes, podcasts, and the awareness is awesome. My fear is that we may have spent too much time trying to understand the abuser and not enough time protecting the person being abused. My sympathy doesn't lie with the toxic predator. My compassion lies with the unsuspecting partner, the loyal, intelligent, loving soul who believed they were building a life rooted in love. My goal isn't to analyze him, it's to arm you. To tell the hard truth, illustrate the patterns, and give you the tools to get out. To get out and to stay out of the sewer of abuse that masquerades itself as devotion. Every toxic marriage follows a script performed in 3 predictable acts. So think of it as a staged play, where Act 1 is the mirage, Act 2, the erosion, and Act 3, the reveal. And by the time the curtain falls, my hope is you'll see the performance for exactly what it was and reclaim your role as the leading lady who has gathered the strength to walk off the stage. The signs were hidden from you on purpose. The control was disguised as love. So you, the intelligent, loyal, and loving woman that you are, would never suspect that this relationship was ever going to be anything but love. He was studying your empathy, your compassion, and learning exactly how to use it against you while extracting whatever it was he needed to take. I happen to know a thing or two about this topic. And if you've been blindsided by the spouse you loved and trusted and are searching for answers about how it all went sideways, this message is for you. I'm Sharon Lee. I'm a certified high conflict divorce and recovery coach and the founder of Free My Assets. This toxic divorce series will show you what this really is, why it's so hard to see, and how to find your footing again. Ladies, let me introduce you to Act 1. Act 1 feels like fate. He listens, he mirrors your heart, remembers the small things you say. He feels so safe, like a soft place to fall. But what seems like connection is nothing more than observation. He's not falling in love with you. He's learning how to shape himself around your goodness. That's why you never saw it coming. You were loving in the way you always have, fully, honestly, believing vulnerability builds closeness. But what he offered was a performance, not a partnership. You met a mirage, an act. And acts, just like a Broadway play, end often the moment the applause stops. In Act 2, the shift begins quietly. A comment here, a contradiction there, then the rewriting of moments you know happened differently. It's confusing. And that confusion becomes the new normal. You start walking on eggshells. You edit yourself just to keep the peace. He withholds, then offers a scrap of affection, and your nervous system calls it relief. And that relief can disguise itself as love, but it's not. It's manipulation masquerading as safety, and every time you reach for some shred of connection, he turns that need itself into evidence that you're the problem. His power play is now alive and well, and your love and loyalty, sacred to you, have been weaponized against you. You were tied to this dynamic. You were tied to your vows. You were tied to the hologram, the illusion of who you thought you married. Don't let anyone tell you this is weakness. What keeps you tied isn't weakness, it's hope and some chemical biology. The highs and lows of this toxic stew rewire your brain and your nervous system, and your body starts mistaking adrenaline for passion. But this, my friend, is addiction. It's not affection. You start chasing calm in the very same place that created the chaos, him. And the cycle feeds itself. He wounds, he soothes, he wounds again. It's called devaluation. It represents the longest act of the relationship. A sequence of manipulations will unpack throughout this entire series. But clarity begins the moment you start to see the patterns for what they are. And listen to the whispers of truth that this is not love, it's control. Welcome to Act 3, the reveal. The part that feels like the floor beneath your feet just vanished. Remember, the discard is always intentional. It happens at your most vulnerable moment. After a loss, a cancer diagnosis, a financial setback, the death of a parent, or even on a day that was meant for celebration. This isn't coincidence. It's precision cruelty, timed to destroy whatever strength you may have had left. Control and cruelty always seem to travel together. And to a toxic mind, the vulnerability equals an opportunity. Moments that should call for compassion become stages for domination. Where one would offer comfort, he delivers rejection. He doesn't just want a divorce. He wants detonation and destruction. Because his goal was never love. It was always control. By this point, he's already secured his next sources of supply. The affair, the secret messages, the person waiting in the wings, the money quietly hidden in undisclosed accounts, all arranged while you were still cooking dinner and attending soccer games with the kids. But I want you to reframe this awful event, because the reveal is simply the exposure. It's the curtain drop at the end of a performance you never even knew you were a part of. He leaves suddenly. No empathy, no closure, no explanation that makes sense, because, of course, none of it is sense. It's pattern. And as devastating as it feels, it's also textbook. You don't have to take my word for it. The research is there. You'll find every toxic partner follows the same rhythm. Idealize, devalue, discard, repeat. Same playbook, different players. This doesn't reveal who you are. It reveals who he is and the sickness within him. The emptiness that demands new supply because the old one began to see the truth. You're being recycled out of a system that feeds on chaos. So remember, the reveal is not rejection, it's exposure. His exit doesn't define your worth, it defines his disorder. His timing, your most fragile moment, reveals the truth of what you were dealing with all along. And that truth, as brutal as it is the beginning of your freedom. From here, we'll move into the layers of this toxic marriage dynamic in upcoming videos. But for now, I want you to remember this. You didn't fail your marriage. You were targeted by someone who saw your goodness as opportunity. But now you hold the one thing he never wanted you to have, your freedom. In this series of Toxic Divorce, we'll look at every piece of the pattern: the trauma bond, the financial deception, the gaslighting, the discard, all of it, so you can gain understanding about what has happened to you. Put together a plan to protect yourself moving forward in the divorce and rebuild from strength instead of fear. You don't have to untangle this alone. There are guides, tools, and a community waiting for you here at Free My Assets. And if you'd like personal support, I would be honored to walk beside you through coaching. You can also simply subscribe right here on YouTube and let YouTube handle the rest. So, until we meet again, take gentle care of yourself. And remember, my friend, you are the #1 asset. So let's set you free.